Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to chat about sales that I had on October 1st through 15th on Mercari, Poshmark, eBay, and Kidizen. Sadly, thank you guys for all the feedback on my last video about Kidizen. I know a lot of you are like, meh, who cares? I never sold on Kidizen. It sucked. It was the worst platform ever. To me, it was more than just another reselling platform though. That's why I'm still mourning the loss. It was a place where for 7 years I went straight to find all my kids' clothes. I think for me, I'm lucky because my youngest is 9.5 and you know, she's got a big sister. So her style is a lot older for her age, I feel like, than maybe my middle girl was at the time. So anyway, it's not like I needed to be shopping on. I would be more sad if I had much younger kids, but I made some amazing friends there. It was definitely more of a small community feel. And I made a lot of sales there to my friends. So we had all these kid economy events and there was share groups where you literally were working kind of intimately like co-workers. Anyway, I still find myself, today is election day, happy election day. The app is completely shutting down and going away in 2 days. I still have it open because for me, it has been the easiest. Like when I sit down to input my inventory, I use Kidizen. When I cross list, I used Kidizen. That's where I listed all my items to first. And so it's kind of been a drastic change for me trying to figure out where I want to list my items first. I think I have decided Poshmark is the way to go because sometimes I have more than 12 photos, which Mercari only allows 12. But then I have to input how much an item weighs in my Poshmark description because I always knew how much it weighed based on the Kidizen label. So for me, it's been quite a stressful week of change and just kind of figuring out what to do next. October also was kind of a poop show for reselling, in my opinion. I do this full-time some weeks, but mostly part-time. And October started out okay. The middle was amazing. So I'll be talking about some of my amazing sales in the second half video, which will be another date. But with Poshmark, like all their deals, I had some great sales. And then today is November 5th. My Poshmark has been dead since they reverted back to the way things were. It's been terrible. So I know it's a long intro, but I'm starting this video by asking for some feedback. I opened up a Curtsy shop a week ago. I've had a ton of likes, but I clicked the box that says it'll keep sending the offer to new likers. And then when I click on it, it says you can resend an offer in like 36 hours. I don't really understand how all of that works. So I've had a lot of action in terms of people liking my items. I haven't had any sales. Just this morning, I opened up a Depop. I don't really know what to post over there. I'm not trendy. I don't know what's selling over there. So if you're selling on Curtsy, well, Curtsy is fine because it's connected to my Poshmark. It's just gonna list whatever is on Poshmark. But Depop, I don't wanna waste my time listing things that don't sell. So I wanted to start kind of like with one category. I was thinking about shoes. I don't know. And anyway, so we're just gonna jump in. I had an okay October altogether once final numbers were in because I had some pretty good sales, but alas, I will put what sold over here. I'll let you know what I paid for it and where I got it. And we're just gonna jump in. It was the beginning, October 1st, I was still selling some costumes. I sold this Disney Elsa costume. This came out of my daughter's toy box, so I had nothing into it. I only had a couple Kidizen sales. I'm still gonna share those with you because it's what sold last month. So it sold for $23.15. All right, I had this Patagonia black nano. October 1st was a long time ago. I don't even know what this was. Was this a jacket? And it sold on Poshmark. Oh, it must have been a men's jacket, I believe. I had one whole dollar into it from a local fill-a-bag sale. It sold for $60. I still get very excited to find Patagonia down here in Orlando because while I pick it up for my kids because it's usually in excellent condition, it's not something that we typically find in our thrift stores. This Super Mario Brothers Koopa Paratrooper, I paid 25 cents for this at the little Catholic church sale I went to where Molly went back with me and we were digging through all the plushes. It sold on eBay for $14. I did finally also open an eBay store. I had never had one. I just had the free store where you got 250 free listings a month. Well, the last 2 months, I kept running over. So I was having a balance of like $8 or $9 at the end of the month, which isn't a lot. So I did open a store on November the 1st just to kind of start fresh with the new month. And I've only had one sale on eBay since November 1st, and today's the 5th. So I don't know. I feel like my eBay is doing worse now that I started a store. I have a store-wide sale running because that was something you couldn't do. So I'm just in a funk with reselling right now. So I have also kind of changed, this video is a lot. I'm starting to slowly change my strategy. I am switching over to more of a buy, sell, trade seller, meaning I love going to the bins and making everything I get for free. I have a bins haul to share with you guys in my next video where I got 38 pounds and only 5 items are for me to list myself. The rest of it is to go to the buy, sell, trade store, which I'm doing tomorrow, and pick up maybe 5 other items to list. So I'm really scaling back on the amount of items to list just because the platforms are moving so slow. And when I can make instant cash, we're just gonna try that out for a little while. I'm also going through my inventory that I have in my house already and kind of clearing out a lot of it. All right, another costume item, Disney Descendants jacket. We've talked about this at the thrift stores. The only costumes I keep to list myself, and they sell all year long, are the Disney Parks official ones. And here it is. So this also came out of my daughter's closet. It sold for $25 and it was just the jacket. I started selling items from my Boutique by the Box marine layer. I know you guys have seen a couple of these sales. If you watched that video, I popped them in. So we'll quickly go over it. I had $14.45 into each of those items. It was a mystery box. This marine layer men's sweatshirt was the first to sell. It took an offer of $36 the same day it was listed just because I really wanted to start moving those things. It was basic and I doubled my money on it. So I counted that as a win. Oh my gosh. It's only 11 a.m. and I can't speak right. I'm just, election day is, no matter which side you're on, it's just kind of a stressful day. Like our country can head in 2 totally different directions. I'm stressed about my taxes already. It's only November. Anyway, these Hot Wheels Mario Kart die cast cars. It was a full box, a complete set. I had $5 into it. Sold on Poshmark for $55. I think that was because I had the whole set. I had a lot of lowball offers on eBay, but I'm glad I held out for that. So that was a pretty great sale. These Hey Dude little toddler Wendy, I picked these up for $5 at Goodwill, and they sold on Mercari for $19. My Mercari sales have also really slowed. I was still getting I almost always had around 5 pending sales on Mercari. And I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I'm picking up the same things. I'm trying to be consistent with listing, but I'm just really like, what in the world? Fourth quarter is usually my best quarter for reselling. I have been reselling since 2003, not on the same level that I am now, but like, yeah, crickets. Insert the cricket sounds. Okay, so these sold for $19 on Mercari. I sold a bundle of 2, these 2 Disney Castle collection dresses. I picked these up recently at Once Upon a Child. I had $12 into them, but it was part of a trade that I did, so I didn't have actual my money into them. It was either stuff from a ThredUp box or the bins, and they sold for, I broke it out. So I had $12 into the 2, and they each sold for $22.50. So $45 was what I sold these 2 for. So that was great, sold really quickly. I had $1 into this new with the tags Disney Wishables Donald Duck, and it sold for $10 on Mercari. I believe those only retail for $20, so that was a pretty great little flip. These Jane and Bleecker plush slipper socks, these came out of a fun box. They were huge. I had to send them in this big, I think I used a shoebox to send these in because they sold on Poshmark for $9. I had $3.50 into them. They were just, you never know what you're getting in a fun box. This was a great sale. Mini Bowden, if you can find some of their harder to find or older applique pieces like this, you'll know they have the obvious stitching around an animal or some sort of print. I had $8 into this set from Once Upon a Child. Again, just know when I say Once Upon a Child, these are things that when I go there with these thread-up boxes or bins finds to trade, this is what I'm looking for. These higher end items that I won't even say I paid up, because I'll trade in 10 things I find at the bins that I have like $4 into altogether, trade for this one item. So let's say I have $4 into it, sold for $43. So that's what I'm looking for when I am trading. This Banana Republic Dress Crew new with the tag men's shirt. This came from the bins. I probably should have just taken it to Plato's. Took a while to sell. Now, if I pick this up, it would definitely go to Plato's or Style Encore, because they do now take men's items here in Orlando. It sold for $11 on Posh, but took a while. These Helen Welsh wool black gloves also came out of a thread-up fun box. Also have had listed for far too long. Sold for $10. So a lot of these sales you're seeing, I'm pretty sure I ran like a 40% off sale. I was sending out offers. I did I think somebody calls it the waterfall method, where I sent 30% off on all of my items. Well, I do a 20% automatic Posher VA offer. And on a weekend, I decided to do a sale. I'll sit down and send 30% on everything, 40% on everything, 50% on not everything, whatever I select the items. And occasionally I even do 60% if I'm trying to clear some really old stuff out. And that resulted in a lot of sales during that weekend. Lorna Jane, another thing I probably shouldn't have listed. These came in an old, I think my very first ever thread up 200-pound box. I don't even have the date on this spreadsheet, so that means it is pre-2021. I had $1.32 into these, also sold for $11. Lorna Jane's a great brand. I believe it's Australian, don't quote me on that, but it rivals Lululemon in my opinion in terms of fit and just functionality. I found out about it from a friend way back in like 2015. So to me, it's worth more. It costs about the same as Lululemon. It just doesn't resell as well. So in the future, that will go to buy, sell, trade for me. This Matilda Jane treat bag, something else I traded for from Once Upon a Child. They had it marked at $3.60. Sold on Poshmark for $25. I sold the last of my Danielle Nicole bags I had picked up from the Universal. They do a huge sale once a year. I had $3 into it and it sold for $22. This Motherhood Maternity Christmas shirt. Hey, this Christmas shirt sold on October the 7th. This I picked up back on November 15th of 2021. I paid $6 for this at Goodwill. I don't know. Sometimes I don't know why I buy things. Probably because when I was pregnant with my son, going to motherhood was like the epitome of spend way too much money on an item you're going to wear for less than 9 months. And I don't know. I wanted to help someone out. Someone paid $16 for it on Poshmark. This LuLaRoe Kids dress bundle came out of my daughter's closet. They probably both wore them over the years. I probably originally got them at thrift stores. Sold for $28 on eBay. I think it was a bundle of 3 or 4. You'll see the photo. Magnolia Hearth and Hand is the Target brand. I picked up like 4 or 5 of these a couple years ago. Maybe 2019, 2020, somewhere around then. I keep a couple totes in my garage of gifts for birthdays, Christmas, baby showers, whatever. I cleaned that out recently and I'm like, I don't know, I'm getting old. I don't know anybody having baby showers or even Christmas gifts for little babies. All my friends' kids are grown. And this sold on Mercari for $20. These Lily Pulitzer Luxletic Weekender leggings came out of my own closet. I think I got these probably at a Style Encore. They sell on eBay for $35.64. Chasing Fireflies, another brand of kids costumes I would pick up all year long for dress up purposes. They cost a lot of money. I purchased retail one time when my little girls wore these mermaid princess things. I don't know, they're great quality. And we used those costumes as dress up for a couple years after that. So this was my daughter's, came out of her bedroom and sold for $16 and it had a hole in it. It just wasn't in the best shape and still sold for $16 within a day of listing. I always forget to check this one tab. I do still have items from a consignment I'm doing for a friend. This A New Day, new with tags, Target sweatshirt sold for a whole $9, but it was really cute. Someone got a great deal and I was happy to see another one of her items go. This Rails blue plaid button down. I have heard other resellers say never pick up Rails plaid shirts anymore. You gotta do you. If you're great at selling things and someone else isn't, I feel like that happens often. I did pick this up just recently at a local church sale for $2. It sold for $30, and I think it was a size extra small or small. I just thought it was pretty. It was in great shape. So until you try something yourself, my advice, I'm a YouTuber, don't take what I say. If I say never ever pick up LuLaRoe, maybe you're great at selling it. I don't know, but you gotta try out things for yourself. These Athleta Brooklyn texture camo pants was something I traded with ThredUp or Bins items at Clothes Mentor. They had them priced at $10. I sold them on eBay for $52. Bianca Marie, you wanna say hello? All right, 1, 2, oh, you're getting so heavy. Oh my goodness. She goes in 2 days to get spayed. Don't tell her. I wish we had done it sooner, but our vet makes us wait until after their first heat. She is 1.5, and she was the best dog ever. She's still amazing. We love her, but she hates any other dog except for dogs she already knows, like our family's dogs that come over. Other dogs, forget about it. She's gonna eat your face off. And that did not happen until after she went through her first heat cycle at the end of July. So I am hoping after we get her fixed, she will go back, but I have a feeling maybe she won't. So she used to go everywhere with us. We literally took her everywhere. Now she goes nowhere. But we love you, Miss B. All right, sorry, squirrel. That was a great sale on those Athleta pants. They were a size extra large also. These North Face purple toddler snow boots. I picked these up like a year ago. It took a while for them to sell. Came from Once Upon a Child. They sold for $25 on Poshmark. These Peak pull-on joggers, the brand PEEK, they are known for, I've told you guys, the graphic shirts with the really obvious stitching like around the edges. These were their pants though. These were my son's. Love them. If you have really like skinny and long leg children, their joggers are one of the only things that worked for my son. They sold for $27. This Life is Good mom duck tee. Y'all know I have this in a couple colors. I just didn't know what size I needed. This one was a gift to me, but it was too small. And I bought the same one, just bigger, because you know, I have ducks and swans. And so this was a personal item. It sold for $14. This Le Sport sack, these were not a good buy. I picked up 2 of these purses. I think I still have one. I paid $6 for it, new with tags at Goodwill. I sold this one for $21 on Posh. I picked them up on May the 1st, so I've had them for a while. This is a good brand to know, Elisa Mama. They make these gorgeous dresses, but they also make matching kids dresses. So this one, I think it wasn't maybe in the best condition, but I listed it anyway because it was more of like a designer type brand. It came in a recent ThredUp Kids 50-pound box, and I sold it for $10, but I just thought it was beautiful. And rather than getting $1.50 for Once Upon a Child, I got $7.99. So that was great. That was when Poshmark had their fee structure changed, and I thought it was great. As somebody who sells a lot of lower priced items on Posh, I noticed those items were being sold faster because of the $5.95 Posh Pass. I think my whole closet was only $5.95 shipping. I don't know. At first I was kind of frustrated with the change, but then my sales were great, and then they changed it back, and now they've been terrible. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Poshmark. These Bionic snakeskin heels, these came from swap.com when it used to be great. It's been years now. They sold. It's not what it used to be. So I did pay $15 for these, brand new in the box. They finally sold on Poshmark for $50. So it was a good flip. It just took a little while. Chaser, these leggings were new with tags, a little girl's leggings. These I purchased, where did I purchase these? I think from Marshall's. It says retail arbitrage. So either Marshall's or Ross, somewhere like that. I had $4 into them. Sold on Poshmark for $22. Not too bad for kids' leggings. And then my last sale for 2 whole weeks, we just went through October 1st through the 15th, was a style-based pickup, not a brand I'd ever heard of. The brand was Harry, H-A-R-I, Casuals. There is another brand with a similar name and similar aesthetic, but it wasn't this one. I picked this up at the bins recently, so I had about $2 into it. Sold on Mercari for $27. It was just a lagging look, like just kind of looked like flax and that whole genre. So I knew it would sell, and it did. So those are my sales for the first half of the month. How were your sales? I can tell you that my second half of the month, when I record that video, was better in terms of I had a lot of higher priced items. I also got my first negative on eBay for no reason. And well, I'll share that story later. I had a over $200 sale on Poshmark. That was great. So it was only great because I had a couple higher price sales. Otherwise, like I said, things have been rough. I'm hoping November picks up. I am on a mission I photographed 50 items yesterday. I worked really hard yesterday. I have 3 bins ready to go to the buy sell trade store. I'm heading into my office now to photograph. It is noon and I'm going to photograph for 2 solid hours. I need to eat lunch, but maybe I'll grab a snack on the way in there. And I'm just making it a goal to just list as much as possible. I'm not gonna give myself a daily goal because I need to get everything in my house listed so I can just start fresh with the new year. That's been my plan with my death pile diaries and all of that since January. And I'm so close, I feel like I can get it done. So thank you guys for watching. Sorry about the rambling, and I'm just like stressed. I don't wanna say I'm burnt out. I love reselling. I'm definitely not burned out. I just want to see more fruits of my labor, I suppose. And it just feels like all of a sudden, I don't do well with change. I don't like change. There was just a lot of change and I feel like it's weighing me down a bit. So yeah. All right. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.